Good afternoon, guys. I'm Dave Canterbury with the Pathfinder School. What I'd like to discuss with you today is a couple of things in just a simplified tent side chat. I'm getting ready to start a new series that's going to be called Woodcrafting on a Budget, or Budget Woodcraft. I did a series a few years ago called Budget Bushcraft, or Bushcrafting on a Budget. That was a very popular series about what you could go buy in stores new for small amounts of money that would do you to begin with to start practicing bushcraft. And bushcraft and woodcraft, to me, are synonymous terms. Bushcraft is a European term, and woodcraft is an American term. Unfortunately, even though the word woodcraft was embodied forever in text by people like E.H. Krebs, Nesmith, and Horace Kephart, bushcraft is the word that is the catchphrase of the day. Woodcrafting is what Americans practiced on the frontier era and later on into the 20th century. And I think woodcraft and bushcraft are synonymous in many ways, but in a lot of ways they're different. Because in Europe they use a different set of tools. They have different plants. They have different animals. They have different ways of doing things than we do in America when we are woodcrafting. And I think that's an important thing for us to explore during our Budget Woodcraft series. One thing I want to talk about with you guys is my new book. And my new book that is going to be coming out in a couple weeks. It's up for pre-order now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, but it is not released yet. We'll have copies of this in our store within the next couple of weeks. And it's published by Adams Media, and it's called Bushcraft 101, A Field Guide to the Art of Wilderness Survival. I did not choose this title. In fact, I asked for the title to be changed on more than one occasion, but it was explained to me that bushcraft is the common word or phrase that people look for if they're trying to practice wilderness self-reliance, and that survival is the other key word that people search when they're looking for things about how to live off the land, or how to live long-term in a wilderness environment, or longer term than possibly just camping or tramping. I wanted this thing to say woodcraft, and they said no, people are going to think that that book is about working wood. Bushcraft, they're going to think it's about being in the woods. So I got overruled. In my mind, this should have been called Woodcraft, the Art of Self-Reliance. That's just my 2 cents, so you know what the deal is with the title to this book. This book quotes authors from the past. It also talks about things that I have learned from books, research, practical knowledge, field experience on what works better than other things to affect your short-term and long-term self-reliance in a wilderness setting. So I'll leave it at that. It's 256 pages. Again, you can order it online now for pre-order at Amazon or Barnes & Noble in the UK as well as in the US, or you can just wait a couple weeks and we'll have them for sale on our website as well. I think the cover price is like $16.99 if I remember right. It's less than 20 bucks for sure. 256 pages. I think it's only got 50 illustrations in it. I wanted it old school. I wanted it very much to be illustration heavy, but we were only allowed 50 illustrations in the book out of the 75 that I submitted. So, enough about the book, enough of the sales pitch. Let's talk about woodcraft on a budget for a minute. And I think that woodcraft is a term that should be used by Americans when they are practicing self-reliance skills in a woodland environment. I am guilty myself of using the word bushcraft over and over, time and time again. And it is a big buzzword, and I think that's why we use it, just like the word survival. But our forefathers, like E.H. Krebs, like Nesmith, like Horace Kephart, were woodcrafters. Our ancestors before them, on the frontier era of the United States in the eastern woodlands, they practiced wood crafting. They carried the tools that they needed to craft the items of necessity for longer term self-reliance. When we talk about this woodcraft on a budget, we're going to be looking at a lot of things that have been bought that are somewhat vintage, and most of them are made in America, and that's a happenstance. It's not that I don't like things that are made in other countries. It's that most of the vintage camping and tool gear like that for the woods was made in America. So we're going to talk about aluminum pots. We're going to talk about Hudson Bay style axes. We're going to talk about butcher knives. We're going to talk about pocket folding knives like the Case Hunter and things of that nature, because those are the tools that were available to our forefathers in the woods to use for wood crafting. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick intro to that stuff. I'll try to get my first video in this series done either today, tomorrow, or the next day. I wanted to give you guys a heads up on the new book. And if you go to my Facebook fan page, Dave Canterbury Pathfinder, we also have a book signing and seminar that we're putting on at Self-Reliance Outfitters retail location in Indianapolis. There's a poster about that there as well. I'm Dave Canterbury with the Pathfinder School. I appreciate everything you do for me, for my school, for my instructors, for our family business, for all of our affiliates, sponsors, and friends, and I'll be back with another video as soon as I can. Thanks, guys.